Okay, let's see quickly.
Right, we are live on my side.
It's it on my side as well. Yes. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to Surplus Yarn Stories. So, today is episode 27 on the 27th of October 2024. What a coincidence! And we are very glad that you are here. Join us. So I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Leanie. I'm from South Africa. I've got the YouTube channel Independent Yarn Crafts, and Mariette will introduce herself, and then we're going to hand over to our special guest.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to our channels. My name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrouw, and I have the podcast, the Craft Stitches podcast here on YouTube. And we are very excited today to be here again and we aim to inspire you with our projects and with some pattern suggestions. And we are very happy to have Juanita again as a guest. She was actually a guest in episode 14, if I remember correctly. So if you want to have more inspiration, you can check out that episode as well. And I will give over to Juanita to introduce herself and then we can talk projects.
Hey everybody, I'm Juanita from JuaKnits, and it's such a pleasure to be chatting with you girls again. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Anita. And
Thank you
just
for
to
coming.
confirm, you are your nets on Instagram as well
Yes,
as Ravelry.
yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I see we got 6 viewers so far, and then Juanita, you have been very busy since the last time you were on the show. As in,
Yes.
I cannot stop looking at your Instagram ever.
You.
It's a really, every time I go on, you inspire me in some way. So
Oh,
thank you for
thank you
that.
so much.
Yes, you're doing great. Do
Thank
you want
you.
to go first as our guest and maybe tell us
Okay.
since last
Hmm.
some of the
What I've been,
projects that you've.
what I've been up to. Okay, so the last time I spoke, I told you about how I started sorting out my scrappy yarns by tipping it all onto my bed and realizing that I had to go to bed that night and sort out all these yarns. So that led to different projects at the end of the day. So last time, I think I had about 13 or 14 projects. I have been busy again this year. And like I say, the last time, Scrappy Yarns is not just for blankets. I do have a blanket that I'm actually working on. It's one of the projects. But I managed to finish quite a couple. So first of all, I finished another afternoon delight quickie. Cowl is the pattern from Marley Bird, but I turned it into a pillow. This is all yarns from African Expressions Harmony, all dived into my stash, and they all created such a nice squishy pillow cover. Um, Definitely pillowcases for your couches or for your beds is definitely something that you can use your scrappy yarns with. You can even use the small bits of yarn that you cut off. You can use it as stuffing. Not this particular one, but you can use it if you put it into a cotton cover, and then you can use that to stuff pillows or even small toys. So I really do not even throw away that last bit of yarn tails that you cut off from your projects. They come in very handy at some stage. I did a lot of socks, and socks is like really a great way of using up all your scrappy yarns. Now, I've got a pair of socks here that I used two different yarns. So this is yarns from Elise Comfort Sock. So this one is very much blue. This one is very much pink and maroon. And I got the inspiration from, her name is Mia Demer from Wikipedia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. And it's called Rag Rug Sock. So she uses two different colors or contrast colors. So I used a cool and a warm, and then you interchange every second row. And this is what you come up with. Don't you think this looks great? I just
Stunning.
love the way that this came out. So there's no rhyme or reason or anything like that. So even if you've got your knitted socks and you've got two colors left and each 50 grams, you can actually, there's a pair of socks in there. So don't give away your little balls of sock yarns, because look what you could create. This is definitely,
Stunning.
I wear them a lot. They're quite funky. Also
Sorry,
still with
Juanita, I
socks.
just want
Yes.
to highlight that
Mm,
we did link all of the projects that you are going to show today is
yes.
in the comments below on both
Mm,
mine and Mariette's channels.
cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Another sock that I did was Starry Night socks from Helen from the Lekker podcast. Um, I had the red in my stash. I had the grey that was left over from another sock that I did, and it was, I think, 20 grams, 20 or 30 grams, and I used that in the cup and in the mosaic pattern here. So what I do is all my sock yarns that I've goes into a Tupperware or a plastic container, and that gets used up into other projects like this. So if they're all in one place, it's easy for you to check out and see what colors go with what socks, or even if you just want to do a heel or something like this. This is an example of the neon color from African Expressions that I used on opal sock with the toe and the cup. So you can really play around with your scraps of yarn or your surplus yarn. Um, just do the toe, just do the cuff, or just do the heel. There's no real vast reason or rule that says that you can't mix and match your colors. The funkier they are, the better, I think. So that's socks. So what else did I do? I did a cowl, the Oddman's cowl, and it's from Helen Stewart. I really do like her patterns. It's a really nice lace pattern. It's like a little V shape with some eyelets in, and this is all leftover yarns from Knotty Habit, Karua Moon, and Knitprint Fibers, if I can remember correctly. And I don't know if anybody has told you before, but grey is like my birth. I have a lot of grey yarns. I still actually have some left, if I'm not mistaken. So there is still left over for another cow at least. So this is the Oddman's cowl. So if you're looking for a nice project, even if you're new to lace knitting, this pattern is a really nice one to knit. Very easy, very nice, well-written pattern from Helen Stewart. And I think this is the third or the fourth pattern that I've done from her. Then we have, I think everybody knows the shift from Andrea Mowry. Mosaic knitting is definitely one of my favorite ways of doing color work. I'm still exploring most of the other color work options like Fair Isle and stranded knitting and Tarsia. But for a beginner, I think mosaic knitting is a really good project to start with, especially the shift cowl. I had in my stash one ball of Knotty Habits Fruit Fly DK in a variegated with all these earthy colors. I don't know if you can see the little specks of color. And then what
Yes.
I had African Expressions Joy from when I did some tea cozies, and I think I knitted a blanket many years ago. I had left over. And so I used that. I think you start this side. It starts very oddly, but I had the yellow, so I did 2 repeats of the yellow, and then I went over to the rusty color, and then I went over to the brown, and then I ended up, I only had the least amount of green, so I only used that on the edge here. So you can play around with your colors as well. What you've got the most of will usually be what you can use at the edge. So what you've got the least of, you would start a project, especially if it's a corner to corner or something like that. But this is a really nice way of using up your scraps. You could use a variegated yarn, but you can use different colors in between as well. So this for me was a really great stash buster. I made a real dent in my African expressions in my Joy collection. What I also have is, I'm going to talk about the blanket later. So scrappy yarns is not always leftover yarns. When I did all my research and investigation into scrappy yarns, advent calendars also came up a lot. Advent calendars is what you will get usually at the end of the year, or dyers will bring it out like Nancy from Naughty Habit did now, a scrappy Tober box. So I'm a big fan of that. Last year I can't remember the colorway now, but I used my scrappy Tober box and I did the zigzag shawl or scarf from Acoustic Camp. This is probably the 5th or the 6th one that I've knitted. I love, love, love this pattern. And everybody that knows me knows I'm a sucker for a chevron or a zigzag pattern. So this is my version. I didn't think I would like the yellow, but the yellow works so, so nice with all these colors. I think that
That
I
yellow
had
was my
enough,
favorite books.
isn't it? I
Yeah.
had enough of this yarn. I paired it with a knotty knot that went from a grey to like a beige. So the dark grey. It started off with a dark grey and it ended up with like a beige. So I did every second row. I did with this with the knot, and then I did the colors with the advent calendar, the minis that we got. I think it was 20 gram minis, 15 or 20 gram minis. I can't remember. But this is a great way of using up your advent calendars, because a lot of people will order them and don't know what to do with them. If you go Google, even on YouTube, there's a couple of websites that you that actually talk about the same topic and give you pattern suggestions, and all of them is like really, really good ones, especially for crochet as well. There's a lot of crochet items that you can do, also with the advent calendars and so on. But this has definitely been a staple in my winter cupboard this year, was this scarf. And I think that the width is like really nice. I don't think I did. I think the original patterning calls for 90 stitches or 92. I did one less repeat of the original pattern. But it's definitely something to play with as well. So that's that one. And then the last year we were talking about my future project, what I was thinking of doing. And I started it in April, just after we did the last episode. And I was hooked, absolutely in love with Woolen Pine, their design called Bluegrass. So I used scrappy yarns from my stash. I think I bought 1 or 2 colors from Naughty Habit just to add a little bit, but I didn't think I had enough wow. And I used a solid color. So the girls ready. I think some of you have actually seen this. So here is my completed bluegrass shawl. It took me, I think, from April to September to finish, so it took me a while. So the one side, I've got the cream is merino linen from Naughty Habit, and on the other side, all the blues and greens come from my stash, or my scrappy stash. Even the smallest little amount, I think the smallest little amount was maybe 2 like 5 grams is what I've used to complete 2 rows in brioche knitting. And brioche knitting likes a lot of yarn because there's a lot of yarn over involved. And what I like about this is there's no ends to work in because it forms part of the edge, a nice castle edge, little fringe.
Stunning.
So this is definitely my pride and joy for last year's projects that I did. I can highly recommend. I know Adela Marie is busy with one that's also looking beautiful because she puts colors together amazingly. If you a beginner brioche knitter, this is definitely the pattern for you. And the pattern has also got very good instructions on how to, with every step, how to do the brioche knitting, the increases and the decreases, and how to switch the colors and everything. So this is definitely my pride and joy for last year. And I did wear it a lot this year in winter time. It's really nice and squishy. My son's friend Caitlin said, "Oh, but that will make a nice blanket." I said to her, "No, I don't think so." It's a lot of
Always.
knitting. Yeah.
Stunning.
While we're talking about 50 grams or less, I was talking about the socks with the 50 grams. You can actually do a project with the 50 grams. This is actually weighed yesterday. It's 48 grams. So this is like it's like the Sophie shawl, which also takes a little bit of less yarn. So you can actually do a little neck scarf with 48 grams of yarn. So this is Shawl from African Expressions, and you can actually do a project with such little yarn. So just think, if you use your scrappy yarns, you can also maybe make a stripy one, and then you can make a real dent in your stash as well. And I think it makes a lovely gift for somebody. So when I was researching what is scrappy yarn or surplus yarn or leftover yarn, they don't really give a weight. Stephen West said, if you take a skein and you roll it up into a ball, then that is scrappy yarn. So it could be anything from a little bit to a full skein, according to Stephen West. So 50 grams, 48 grams actually can make a lovely little project and a gift for somebody else. What I also used in my stash is I had the real moon. I would call this deep stash. It's that I've had for quite some time. Is you can see what variegate you've got. And I had this green, and I wasn't sure about this green. I liked the pink, but just look how nice these colors play together. So this is just a normal asymmetrical shawl. Start at one point, and you repeat. You put in some garter stitch ridges, and this is a lovely way of using up some of your stash as well. I think this the pink and the green was like 50 grams, and the variegated was maybe about 150 grams of yarn. So you can really play around with some of your stash as well. If you put your colors together, look what goes together. Look for the pop of color. I didn't think the green will work, and it actually does. It looks
Does,
really
yeah.
nice from this one. It picks up the color in the variegates. So it's a good idea to sit and take a solid color and play with it and see where does it catch colors in your variegated yarn. So you can have that one skein that you're not sure of, but you can really work with extra colors and pick out those ones that you really like as well. What we also have is I'm busy, like scrappy projects, like I said in the beginning, has always been thought of as a blanket project. Well, this year I did start a blanket project. So my aim was to learn how to do the pinhole cast on, which I did there. And there's different ways of doing it. And I decided to use all the soft yarn. So this is the opals, mostly is opal. I think there's a bit of Katya in here, a bit of, Al Lincoln, which is discontinued, very deep stash, discontinued years ago. There's a sourdough in here as well. So you can really play with color by changing every 2 rows, or what I'm doing is helical knitting. So I change every row. I change, but the starting point just shifts the whole time. And I did the middle square with one ball for a bit, and then I changed into changing all the colors. And again, no rhyme, no reason. I'm just taking colors as I take them out of the bag. I've got them all in a bag. And then what I did is I just gave it a little edge with, I think this, I think it's Cowgirl Blues, the purple that was in my stash. And then I'm going to make 9 of these big blocks, and then I'm going to sew them together. So it looks like stained glass to me with a darker edge, and then all these
Really
beautiful
good.
colors. And it's like
Yes.
one of a kind. So your square will look totally different than my square when you do that with whatever yarns you've got. So this is a great way. And even if you've just got like a piece like this, you can knit it in, and you knit in your ends. You don't have a lot of threads to work in at the end of the day. So that is my scrappy project that I've knitted since last year, April. Um, I'm planning some more. Mariette and it's got a link also to future projects that she'll share with you later. What else is there? What else is there? Any questions?
Sorry, Juanita. I just
Yes,
quickly want to confirm.
yes.
So, Susanna is saying she didn't catch the name of the little 48-gram neck scarf. The pink
Okay.
one?
So this is a little pattern that I did for Lig magazine. Um, but I will send her the recipe. I will put the recipe up, and then she can make this little one. I'll share the
That's
rest. I'll share the recipe for this little short scarf.
thank you.
That'll be very nice.
Okay.
I
Mariette,
love
you're a
that.
little bit soft.
Sorry, I just want to comment first on Juanita's projects. I love that project that she's busy with at the moment. The giant, what is it called? Giant
The
scrap
giant square.
Afghan.
Mm.
Yes, that is
Giant square
so
scrap
pretty.
blanket, yeah. By Laura
Yes,
Peters.
yes, that's very very nice. Okay, sorry, I
Thank you.
was just oohing and eyeing about all of the beautiful projects. All right.
Maybe just a quick shout out to Rosemary, Suzette, and Susanna. Hi, thank you for the comments.
Hi everyone.
Saying hi.
Yes.
And
Let's
then
see. Okay.
Mariette, you've got a finished object for us. Just want to make it big
Yes.
quickly. Hold on a second.
Sure. There we go. All right. So, if you have been with us before, you would know that I was a bit obsessed with pot holders, and I actually made 6 of them with leftover yarns, and I finished the sixth one that I was making. So what I did is I used the leftover pot holder pattern by Krista on Ravelry, and it is linked in the Surplus Yarn Stories pattern inspiration bundle. And I actually made mine in sets, like a little bit of a bigger one and a little bit of a smaller one. So this is the smaller one of my last set that I finished, and I chained 35 for it. It is a crochet project.
It's cute. I love the green and purple contrast.
Oh, that looks lovely. Yes, I agree.
Thank you. Yes, it's nice and springy, I would say. Um, I just used double knit yarns for this one. It is all 100% cotton, Moya cottons. I think the green is called apple. And then I also used some Venice colors and some Raisa. And I think this little gold strip, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but a very small piece of Al Premier mercerized cotton as well. And I think this was 29 grams of yarn, and it measures 13.5 by 14 centimeters. So it's not properly square, but doesn't matter. It does the job. So I'm very happy about that. I think I have enough pot holders for the moment. Very, very happy about
Okay.
that. Oh, I see Mincy has also joined us. Hello, Mincy from Naughty
Hi,
Habit.
Minx. And Rosemary is saying Mariette is stunning.
I don't know how you can use it. It's too
Too
pretty
good
to
to
use.
use.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So
So,
before we move, sorry, Leonie, before we move on, I just want to brag a little bit more with another project, if you don't mind.
okay,
It's
I'm making you
actually
big again.
not made. Thank you. It's actually not made with surplus yarns. I just used like minis and so, but it's perfect for those little bits of leftovers. And that is my equal striped socks. That's a new pattern that I brought out this month for the third DB Sock along that I host every year. So this is what it looks like, and you will see, I think, two more of these in this episode. But each of these little colored stripes, like the yellow and the purple, only uses about 8 grams of yarn. So if you have like minis, 10-gram minis, and so you can just use a mini on each of these colors. And if I talk about 8 grams, I mean for the pair. So it will be 4 grams and 4 grams. So if you have smaller minis, like 5 grams each of a color, you can make like very beautiful socks and just do a color on each sock and maybe one main color throughout and have mismatched matched socks. So just thinking about it as well, the pattern is still 30%, no, 25% discounted at the moment. So if you still want to grab that at a bit of a discounted price, that is also there for you until the end of the month. So yeah, I just wanted to share the socks because it's a very good project for using up some leftovers as well.
Stunning. Congrats on the pattern.
Thank you. And at least this year I've written it toe up and cuff down. So if you're team cuff down, the instructions are there for you. And if you're team
I
toe
did
up,
my pair.
you
I
can do it
did
at
my
the same
pair.
time. Yes, yes. And that came out beautifully with Juanita actually did hers with two colors. So she used a little bit of mohair and one color throughout. And that looks stunning as well. So if you're not
Yeah,
into
so
the colorful, you can
it worked
just
very well.
use
Yeah,
like, yeah, like these in the same colors.
yes.
Very, very pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So shall I chat a bit about how you can sort of sort out your yarns, how to get to a project? So like I showed you before, when I sorted out all the yarns, I've used plastic bags, and they come in very handy. And in this little plastic bag, I have literally got little bits of yarn. Some are a little bit bigger than others. There's like really a small piece here. So this is what you will use in a scrappy project. So if I go and weigh this, then this is 100 grams of yarn. Can you believe it? So
Yeah.
this is what I will
Big
use for my, sorry?
100 grams is enough for a pair of socks as well.
Exactly. So just think about the stripy socks that you can do with this. I'm just going to take it all out of the plastic bag. So I put all the grays together. And this is what I come up with. But now you can add a red into this, a bright pink, a bright yellow, whatever, or a variegated with some grays in, or a neon color. Um, even something with a bit of a speckle, or even self-striping yarn goes really well with some of the scrappy yarns as well. It breaks up the striping pattern really nice. It gives a really nice impact with the single with the solid colors as you knit it up. I'm talking about knitting now. Crochet it's a little bit different because you use more yarn, so you won't really see the effect of the self striping yarns. So this is one way of sorting out your yarns is to put them together in the same color family. So all the grays are together here. You would put the same weight of yarns together as well. Okay. So once again, my little plastic bag. I've got some pinks and purples here with my little note to say it's 10 grams or less. So that is what I did. So I started and I weighed all my little yarns. So if it was 10 grams or less, it went into this bag. So when I'm thinking of what project I want to do, I know this bag, 10 grams or less, I can pair it with something else. I have not weighed the total, but this is about probably, if you count them all together, probably about 80 grams of yarn. Again, lying in your stash. Also, a pair of socks. So this is the way, I don't have a note in this one. I think it's up already. So like I said, it could be anything from this much to this much stash, and I will use this bit. So the best way of sorting out your yarn is to put the yarn weights together, and then when you've got all the weights together, from there you divide it into your colors. And you will see when you've got everything laid out in front of you, most of the colors will be your most favorite colors because when we go shopping, the thing that we like the most is the one that you're usually drawn to. So blues definitely is one of my favorite colors. Um, and you get these little tops minis that you can
Yes.
also use that I've also got in my stash. Sometimes you get them as a present or something like that. And some of them are DK, but then I would put it with my DK yarns. But most of these are soft weight yarns. Um, the idea is then to put them in, maybe if you want to do an ombre, you would like to put the colors together from your lightest to your darkest and put it up in front of you and take a photo and see if that works for you. And if you want to pair it with another solid color or with a variegated, that will pick up all those colors that you put out. So that's like the best way that I found to work is to put colors together, is to stay in the same family, like all the blue. So this will make like a really nice shawl or a zigzag scarf. You would start with your lightest color and maybe pair it with a dark color and do every second row like that. Or you would start with your lightest color, work through every second row or do a section of all the light colors until it's finished, and then move on to the next color. And you would really get a nice, especially a zigzag scarf like that as well. So that is my top tips for sorting out your stashes. Divide it by colors. When you've got all your yarn weights together, mark it. Put a little paper in so that you know how much yarn it is. So a kitchen scale is definitely your friend here. I've got actually two scales. I've got one in the kitchen and one in one of my yarn boxes because I'm always interested to see how much yarn is left over from a project. Where can I use it again? So to write down the weight of the yarn is also a good idea. Like I said, 100 grams. You could, if it's just lying there, you would not know that it was 100 grams of yarn. So that, and if you don't know where a color will belong, I would put all my variegates together. And once you've got all your colors sorted, you would put the variegates in the middle. And then you will see where it picks up. So then you would probably add it to the blues or to the pinks or something like that. Because variegated or very speckled yarn is sometimes difficult to put it into a specific color. So this is a grey with beige, dark grey and beige. So this would either go with any of these ones, with a dark grey, a light grey, or even in something that's got a bit of a cream or a beige in it. So don't discard your variegated yarns as well. You would put them together and you would see where they would fit in or where you can put them in as well. Yeah, so is there any question?
Thank you. No, I think that is very clear. So we go yarn weight first, but what about different types? I mean, I always ask this
Yes.
question because I'm very scared of mixing like DK cotton with DK merino maybe. Do you
Yeah,
also
and
need to the different
yeah.
fibers
So
separate?
I keep my fibers separate. So plant fibers I would use only on plant fiber stuff, all together. So the bamboos, the cottons, what else is? I'm not very good in plant fibers. Yeah, so it will be your bamboo and your cottons. Um,
Aim.
Animal fibers, I would put the animal fibers together. Your merino linen, I would still use like I did in the bluegrass shawl. So the merino linen is on the front, and then all my back colors. This is all just soft. This is 100% merino. Um, all of them. So you can mix those two, but I won't use a DK merino with a DK cotton. No, they wash separately. You get some people that will mix and match them, but I prefer not to mix the two. And so I would keep all my merino, even if it's a bit of merino with a bit of polyamide in for a soft yarn, I would still consider them that you can knit them together. If you can remember sometimes by the time they end up in this bag, I've forgotten about which yarn label. Sometimes I can remember, but sometimes I can't remember which ones. And I've been accumulating last 15 years, so I can't remember exactly from where they come from. But you can, if you keep a good record of all your yarns, like maybe in a journal or something like that, you'll be able to recall or put them together with the yarn label. But that's before I got clever. And now I keep yarn labels and this stuff together. But previously I did. I just threw it all together in a bag or in a container, and then from there on I sorted it out. But yeah, so if you want to do a DK, you can use two stock weight yarns together. If you want stock weight, you can use two lace yarns together to hold up. So you can make up your own weight as well.
Thank you. I just want to quickly read the comments. Mariette, did you want to say something?
Now you can go on.
Okay, sorry. I think there's a little bit of a delay on my side. But Suzette is saying she's busy with a big granny project and she did 2 socks for October. Well done with
Well
some
done.
Kaiser yarns. Yes. And then Susanna is saying thank you, Juanette. Juanita, I'm learning so much from you tonight. So
Oh, thank
thanks for
you.
that. Okay. So I think let's do the whips. I'm looking at the time. So, Juanita, do you have any other whips that you wanted to show besides the big? That one is
Um,
amazing.
Not the scrap beyond project. I'm busy with I don't know if anybody with Katya yarns. It's Angela. I got it as a gift from my friend Edith. I think it's called Angela. So this is not a scrap yarn project, but this is what I'm busy with at the moment. So the yarn changes color. It's like knitting with cotton candy. It's like super soft. It's like a thin fiber, and then it's filled with loads and loads of little strands of yarn. Beautiful. It's an acrylic yarn. So I don't usually knit with acrylic, but this is just so beautiful. So this is the one whip, and then I've got socks and definitely my blanket. I'm trying to finish at least a square in a month's time. So it's like really nice mindless knitting. So yeah, so this is my second square that I'm busy with now. And I'm really enjoying knitting this. It's really fun. And I ended up, I think, 413 stitches around. before I went over to the solid color for the little border. So it's a lot of stitches.
Thank you. I'm going to put Mariette on the big screen, and then Mariette, you can show us your whips first. I wonder. Mariette, if I'm interrupting you, I'm sorry, but I can't hear you. Juanita, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you, but I can't hear Mariette at the moment.
Right. So, Mariette, we cannot hear you. Testing? Okay. So, what I'm thinking of doing, Mariette, I'm just quickly going to put you off. Then I'll talk about my whip, giving you some chance to sort out the microphone. Is that okay? Okay. Let me figure this out quickly. There we go. Okay, so let Mariette sort out her microphone quick, and then I will talk about my work. So I only worked on one project this month, and that is actually the pattern Mariette showed just now. It's her pattern, the equal striped socks, and I'm doing that with my Scrappy Tober kit that I bought from Mincy from Naughty Habit. And I don't know, Mincy, if you can remind me in the comments the colorway, because I cannot remember the exact name now. I see Mariette is back. Let me just try and get her in. There we
Okay,
go.
I'm back.
Mariette, testing. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna finish and then I'll make you big again. Okay. So I'm using Mariette's pattern, the equal stripe sock pattern, with the Naughty Habit Scrappy Tober box. And I just finished the leg this morning. So I chose to go cuff down. I'm a team cuff down girl. And this is how far we got. And this is so cool. Mincy, I love it. This is really, really cool. The pattern and the yarn just work together. And look here, Juanita, when you were talking about the solid gray stripes in
Yeah, it
between,
looks
how
fabulous.
nicely it frames
Yeah,
the. Yes.
yeah. And the colors
Oh,
pop out a little bit more, hey? Really beautiful.
yes, yes. So, love it. This is on the Kaiso sock base from Mincy. That is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. I'm doing them in tandem. So I stopped because I didn't have where to start with the yield this afternoon. So I'll work on that next weekend. So yeah. Mincy says this is the luminous colorway. Thanks, Mincy. And then yeah, Susanna saying it's the most beautiful colorways that we are using. So I just quickly want to elaborate on the box because I love it. I took the solid battleship gray, the contrast, and I did not stick to the days. So I actually, by day 10, I had all mine open because I couldn't wait anymore, but I didn't share anything on social media. And here you guys can see the rest of the collection. There we go. It's in no order. I messed it up. So there's yellows and oranges and pink and purples, and it's all these neon colors that I absolutely love. But then there's one. Look at this.
Oh, that's
I cannot
beautiful.
remember the name, but this one is so cool. It's this stripe here in the middle. You see this one?
It's really pretty,
I
hey?
love it. Yes. I don't even want to use this. I just want to keep it and look at this little bit that's left.
Oh,
I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you the floor completely just now. So normally what I do is when I'm done with adding the minis into the socks, I add them to my cozy sock memories blanket. So I did these two today, and I am busy with this neon green, and I made some squares that will go into my Battenberg. I managed to get four out from there, and the very last little bit went into my um, what do we call this again?
magical.
Magic knot ball. There we go. Magic knot ball. So yeah, this minis really goes a long way. It's 20 grams per mini. Let me confirm. Yes, it's 20 grams per mini, and you can really do a lot with that 20 grams. So awesome. Okay, so that's me, Mariette. Sorry, I'm making you big again. You'll need to start from scratch.
No problem. No problem. So I just wanted to mention that the giant square scrap blanket that Juanita is working on is actually a free download on Ravelry. So that is awesome if you want to check that out. All right, so I think I'll just cut the socks quickly. I'll do the socks last. I started a little blanket with, I think this is mostly acrylic leftovers. I'm crocheting the blanket. I did start it in the previous episode and I showed it, but I just want to quickly check the notes. It is the corner to corner moss stitch by Polly Plum on Ravelry, and it's also a free pattern. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook, and the Battenberg blanket that I made for part of the Battenberg make along that Leanie and I are hosting still on Instagram, I knit mine and I used DK leftovers from my stash. And all of the yarns that was a little bit rough on the hands or just a little bit too thick, if I knit a little square, it's bigger than the rest. I threw all of that in a bag and I started this blanket. And I have a little marker in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. In the previous episode, I was at this beautiful marker there and I crocheted. Maybe I'll just choose a way to try and show this. And I added all of that. So at least I got somewhere with this one.
That's
So
good
yes,
progress.
yes. And I chose the little bit of rougher yarns and things. I are crocheting a little bit easier, but yeah, it will be a dark blanket afterwards because my dog has temperature issues. Okay, let me see. And then my second project that I have here, I've only made three little squares, is my Brioche Memories by Valerie NG on Ravelry. So it is also mitered squares, but it is brioche. I only added three squares, but it's three. So I've added this little green one, which is a leftover from my socks here. And I added this little square, this blue and red. And I tried to add a yellow square here. but you will not believe me if I tell you that this space did not want a yellow square. I restarted the square 4 times, and the fourth time I decided, listen, this yellow does not want to be here, just grab something else. And it worked. So 3 little squares added. Sometimes you have to listen to the yarn as well. It does not always want to go where you want to put it. So yes, this is a very long term project for me. I'm only using my sock yarns for this one. Even if it doesn't matter if it's a commercial brand or a hand dyed yarn, as long as it's 75% wool and 25% nylon, it goes into here. All right, so that is the brioche memories. And then the last project that I would like to share is another pair of the equal striped socks. I finished the first sock and I'm busy with the second one. And this is just an example as well of how you can use a bigger leftover and bring some colors together. So this is the sock. This one was knit cuff down, and I used a opal yarn, this little opal yarn, as my color that brings everything together. So you will see my little garter stripes change color, and I've also added it as a pop of color at the cuff, and I used 2 Knotty Habit yarns to do the rest of the cuff. So it was these 2 minis from sock sets. But in my first sock, you can't really see the pop of color at the cuff and then the 2 Knotty Habit yarns. But in the second one, you can see that because it's mismatched. Matched. So yeah, I was going for um, the spin cycle yarns that you usually see in podcasts that changes color, and I thought a self-striping yarn would change color here on my sock, and I think it worked out perfectly. I love it.
It really looks nice.
Thank you. Yes. So that is all of the projects that I have to share that's actually made. Um, yeah.
Mariette, we got a question from Rosemary. She just wants to confirm, are you using linen stitch in your corner to corner blanket?
Yes, some people call it linen stitch and some call it moss stitch. The specific pattern that I'm using is calling it moss stitch, but it is exactly the same as linen stitch. It's like it's I almost spoke in Afrikaans terms now. It's US terms, single crochet and then a chain and a single crochet, and then you do your single crochets inside the chains in the next row. So yeah, linen stitch, moss stitch,
And
that one.
it creates a nice flowy, what's the right word that I'm looking for? A nice drape in the fabric.
Yes, and it's also in its own way a little more dense in the fact that there's not lots of air moving through it. It doesn't have a lot of big holes. It's a nice fabric for a blanket specifically and for placemats. If you use linen stitch or moss stitch. And I like the corner to corner thing because the reason I chose that is because I have a certain amount of yarn, and then with the corner to corner, you always know, okay, if I hit half the yarn, I start decreasing, and then you have a finished blanket. No yarn chicken. Yes.
Okay.
All
So
right.
now, I think to finish off, Juanita gave us 4 pattern suggestions, Mariette, that you prepared for us. Can I share them? Are you ready?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Give me a second. Hmm. Give me a second. It does not want to cooperate right now. Goodness. Sometimes it goes so well and then sometimes it just does not. Okay, let me try some tricks. Apologies. There we go.
Okay, let me
There we go.
just open my notes. Okay, so that is the Adventuring Scarf, Cowl and Wrap from Ambah O'Brien. So it is a knitting pattern. It is a paidful pattern on Ravelry, and as you can make out by the name, it was designed for Advents, and it is basically a 3-in-1 pattern, I would say, making a scarf, a cowl, or a wrap in fingering weight yarn. So she says that she specifically designed it with an advent calendar in mind to make the most of daily mini skein gifts as they appear. And there is so many possibilities because you can now make a scarf or a wrap or even a cowl with this pattern. And just look at that beautiful lace on it as well. Um, I really like it.
Yeah,
It's a
this
very
this one really caught my eye. I like the little lace it's breaking up the colors.
yes, it is very very pretty.
It's definitely one of the 4 patterns that I'm considering knitting with my Scrappy Tober box that I got from Naughty Habit. I chose the earthy one, so that one really grabbed my eye. The bigger one, obviously the wrap, and then there's a cowl pattern to do as well if you've got leftovers, which I'm sure you will have.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Mariette also seems to have some connection issues and she's back. There we go.
I clicked
Okay.
on my notes to see what is the next pattern, and it just said page does not exist. So I don't know what happened there, people. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh
Okay.
goodness.
So I'm going to share my screen again.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the Little Creek shawl. Juanita was so kind to give us all these awesome suggestions. And this one is actually very nice. It is also a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's a bottom up triangular shawl and it's done with 2x2 rib, but then it's opened up by placing yarn overs in a 12-row repeat, and then you make drop stitches to make the texture. I think this is amazing. I actually should have taken a picture of a little bit nearer, but I think it's stunning. It's all made with 2x2 rib, and just look at the effect.
And does it say how the molding gets done?
Yeah, they
I
use
think
different
it's
speckled yarn, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, yes. I see she's got three different colors here in fingering weight yarn, and she actually says that she has designed it in this way so that it's perfect if you are constantly being interrupted to put it down and know exactly where you are. She actually has a little bit of a section in the pattern for how to read your pattern of the shawl so that if you pick it up and you just look at it, you can immediately see where you are in this pattern.
So
So
I
yeah, I
was
thought that
thinking
was
with this pattern, you can do your minis and you can work from one color all the way up. It's probably going to be a little bit more stripy, but I really, really like this pattern. And like you said, the texture is really gorgeous. Something that I haven't knitted before. I haven't done anything very much with drop stitches.
Okay. Which is next? Adventurous wrap. Okay, so that is also one by Ambah O'Brien. Also designed with Advents in mind. Let me just see quickly in my notes. So it's also a paid for pattern with fingering weight yarn. Okay, let me see. She's actually got quite a lot of different colors, as you can see. It's obviously for a advent. Um, and yeah, I'm not sure exactly how she gets this texture. I'm
So
sure it
it's
has to
actually
do.
It's two, yes, it's mostly garter stitch, and she keeps on changing different colors. So you'll have color A, then you will go color two, and then color one, two, one, two. Then she'll switch it up again. Then she will use two, and then color two and three, two and three. She mixes it up like that. But it's actually two triangles that's sewn together that give you this huge wrap. So this is number
Okay,
two
because
on my list to knit.
I was just sitting and wondering how she gets this exact shape. So I'm so glad that you know that it's two triangles.
Yeah,
It is
so
very
yeah, so it's two triangles. It's amazing. I never thought of doing that by myself. It's a really interesting shape.
Yes, no, it's and I like her colors as well. It's very autumnal, really
You're
pretty.
gorgeous. So it's absolutely beautiful. But
Okay,
I
and
think that
there's
is
one
thinking that's the
left.
perfect one for scrappies.
All right. Yes. I like this one a lot. The Forage Shawl by Helen Stewart. I love the lace. You can see Juanita had a finger in the pie here with choosing our pattern suggestions with the lace. So anyone that loves knitting lace, I think I read somewhere that it's not like a very hard project to do. Um,
No, it's not.
and she also says that it's a
Her project is like lace. The lace section is really beginner friendly.
okay. I have not made anything by Helen Stewart before, but I've seen lots of her things, and I think we have had a few of hers on the episodes before. It's very eye catching. She's got a really beautiful eye for color, and this patterning is just very pretty. I love the edge of this one specifically with the little points.
Yes,
It's really
yeah, it's beautiful.
really
Little
pretty.
picos, yeah.
Yes. Um, let me see. It's just one size. No, there's three. Let me see. It says one size. Um, yeah, and she made it with 7 20-gram mini skeins. So that is also something that can use up quite a bit of minis.
Yeah, and what you can do is with your. That's why I say it's important to have a kitchen scale in your yarn room or in your kitchen, because you can go and measure out 20 grams or whatever, and you can make up your own colors. You don't have to use an advent calendar. If you go and look in your cupboard, you'll definitely see that you've got different colors. You can choose what colors you want to do your own, put your own stamp on it. But you can go and way out and make your own little mini skeins or a little advent calendar balls that you can use for this. I think that's it's very hard to decide which one. Probably going to end up knitting all four of them at some stage. But they're all really, really nice patterns.
I've just been thinking that this last one, the forage shawl with the 20-gram minis, I'm sure if you use ideas that Juanita gave us on how to put color together. You can even, instead of doing 7, you can do 14 different ones and just do
Yes.
half of a repeat in 2 different colors, because it
Yeah.
doesn't really seem
That's
that it's
great.
specifically the sock. It has a specific garter bump to signal the transition between two. In that, you
Yes.
can just go
Yes.
with the flow and off the color
Yeah.
and make everyone into
Yeah.
two. I think also work perfect for
Yeah. I
for
think a lot of us is
scraps, for
very scared
smaller
to change
pieces.
a pattern. Sorry, I think a lot of us is very scared to change a pattern, but like you say, you can go and chop and change. No, the pattern is just there. It's a guideline. So a lot of us like religiously will follow the pattern line by line. You need to relax a bit sometimes and maybe try out. Even if you knit a bit and you don't like it, you can rip it out. You've learned something in that process. So yeah,
Yes, it's not like
Correct.
sewing where if you cut a piece out, it's cut out. You can still join the yarn again and go.
yes,
Yes.
for sure.
I just want to say that Susanna
Okay.
saying she's about to start a free pattern from Helen called the Spindrift Shawl. Very
Oh,
pretty. I'm
nice.
going
Oh, fantastic.
to go see what
She
that
must
one
send us
looks
some
like
pictures.
actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out as well.
Yes. Okay. So, ladies, we are at 7 minutes past 6. We normally try to keep this to an hour. So, Juanita,
We
from
had
my
fun.
side, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you on and when
Thank
we see
you.
you at the start to see all the makes that you are doing. So, yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me again. It's always a pleasure to visit with you girls.
Thank you. So, do you quickly want to say goodbye to the audience?
Thanks for everybody for watching. You can either DM me on either Instagram or Facebook, and if you've got any questions, I would gladly answer them. Or if you need some help with some putting some colors together, let me know. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Mariette?
much, Juanita. Thank you for your awesome tips. I loved the tip of
Thank you.
adding a note into the bag and saying this is like 10 grams or less, because you always want something less than 10 grams or more than 10 grams. I think that is the best tip that I heard today. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for your time and coming to share your projects and help us inspire ourselves and the people. And thank
Thank
you
you
all
very
for
much.
coming and watching. We're looking forward to doing this again.
Okay, so from my side as well, thank you everybody for watching and for all the comments. We really enjoy interacting with everyone, so thank you for that. And then we wish you a great knitting and crochet and crafting time until we are back and we share some more. Bye.
Bye, everybody.